In this tutorial, I'll be talking about how to manage the translation. So apps can be customized for different deployments and types of workflows. CHT is being used in different countries around the world, so these localization settings are necessary for adapting the different languages. Users can currently interact with the app in English, French, Hindi, Nepali, Spanish, Swahili, or Indonesian, and also can add any new languages. The CST also supports Bikram Samvat or Gregorian calendars and can be localized for the date formatting. Bikram Samvat is a Nepali calendar used in context of Nepal. So in the translations, if you are looking to modify some labels in the app, you can do by adding a key and modify the label in a custom translation files in your translations folder. We will quickly look into the demo after this. So all the properties file used in the format messages language code dot properties, where the language code is the same two-letter code used to identify the language in the application. For instance, for English, we would have a translations slash messages dash en dot properties file. And like you can see over here on the image, for contact.type.district underscore hospital, we have the key is contact.type.district underscore hospital and the value is community. Similarly, the other one, targets.assessment.title, has the value of assessments completed. So these can be different based on the different languages that we use for the translations. So what I mean is the community may be on English, but if we want to change that on different languages, let's say Spanish, then we would have the different file called translations messages -es dot properties for Espanol, and the value of key over here will remain same, but the value might be different because based on the translation of the community word in the Spanish. We will look into it soon. Translation of for X forms are defined within the forms themselves. The XLS form notation is documented, which I have also pasted the link in the description, and would use the corresponding 2-character language codes. So here in the screen, we can see there are different labels for different languages in the forms. So in the XLS form, we have like 3 different labels column. One over here on the first one, that is the third one from the left, notes the label in the English language. So we denote that by label : en. And if we want to use the other language over here, as we can see, the fourth from the left label : hi denotes the translations for the same labels in the Hindi language. We can also see the other one in Indonesian. We can also have the translations through the UI or the app management interface, which is available for non-technical administrative users in CST. So here you can see on the right hand side of the screen over here, where we see the different translation keys and the corresponding values for the different languages. Let's see a simple demonstration of how we can apply the translation in different languages using both the properties file and app management interface. So let's look first at app management interface. So this I have logged in over here as an administrative user. So if I go to app management and on display, I can see the translation tab over here. So I can either click on translation keys and see what are the corresponding values for those translation keys. So we can see on the left hand side the translation keys and the corresponding values on English. Similarly, if I click on languages like Nepali, I can see different other languages for the same translation keys. I can also compare those with the different languages. Like activity means something different on the other languages. So for an example, if I want to change a key and its values, then I can do it from here as well. On our application, we go to the user settings and we go to Spanish, and we go to Spanish, and we see people are contactos. So let me go back to English. And now let me go to app management, display, translation, people. So here I can see currently it is contactors as we saw earlier. Now let's change this to people. Okay, I will submit these changes. Now if I go to application, user settings, and change the language to Spanish, so you see earlier it was showing us as contactors, but now it shows us as people. So this is one way to change the translation words on different languages. Similarly, if you want to add any new translations, you should be able to add by clicking on this add new translation keys. So here you will define the keys and the corresponding values for each of the languages. Next, we saw this, how we can make the translation changes or the localization from the app management interface. Next, we will look into how we can do the same thing from the properties file. I've created a new CHT project, and in my translation folder, as you can see, I have two properties file. One is in English and other is in Spanish. So I have different keys and values that I mentioned earlier, similar to what we saw in the app management interface. Here, now if I want to change, I can do the same from the properties file. We can see the analytics is something different on Spanish. So let's try changing that from the properties file. So we found this on the properties file where analytics is different word over here on this panel. Now we will just update this to this panel. Okay, let's save this. The custom translations from the properties files are added to the app with the upload-custom-translations actions. So to upload this translation, to run this, so here you need CHT, the URL name, and certificates, and upload-custom-translations. So once I run this, if I go over here now, here now we can see our changes. It has changed to analytics Spanish. Finally, the other way would be to change through the forms. Like we said earlier, the different labels could be different on the forms based on the column name with colon, colon, and language code. And to upload those translations from the forms, you need the command upload-contact-forms and upload-app-forms. And with those, the translations will also be uploaded or updated in your applications, CHT applications. You can also find more details on the CHT documentation website on the translation. So you can learn more about how to manage translations, and also Localization labels for CHT applications. This covers most of the things that we discuss in these tutorials and gives a little bit more detailed understandings. I have posted these links on the description of the video tutorials. Please feel free to post any of your comments, feedback or questions in the CHT community forum.